back everybody, Matt the Man here, hope you're doing well. So today is Super Bowl Sunday, one of the best days of the year. Football is coming to an end. Oh my god. One of my favorite sports for a long time. And since it is Super Bowl Sunday, I figured I'd take a football movie and talk about it. And today I decided to do one of my favorites that just celebrated its 25th anniversary last fall, and that is Remember the Titans, starring Denzel Washington. This is one of my favorite football movies ever. It might be up there and maybe in my number one. I always go back between Friday Night Lights, the movie, and Remember the Titans. Even though this movie did come out 4 years before Friday Night Lights. This is when people say Disney isn't Disney like it used to be, this is what people are talking about. Disney, after the success of Remember the Titans, not that they didn't have other sports movies in the 90s, the Mighty Ducks, and so on, but Remember the Titans kind of started a whole new trend for Disney, doing sports biofilms. The Mighty Ducks was not a biofilm. They were just sports movies dealing with hockey. Coach Bombay all the way. But Remember the Titans started a new trend. Then we got The Rookie with Dennis Quaid. Then we got Miracle, dealing with the team that won the Olympics. Then we got Glory Road. Then we got Invincible with Mark Wahlberg. And I did so on and so forth for a while. But Remember the Titans. I remember I saw this movie in 2000 for my birthday. Even though it was already out a couple of weeks by that point, it came out near the end of September of 2000. I saw it for my birthday with my family about 2 weeks later, and I think one of my favorite movies. I have a lot of history with this movie. This is a movie that on the last day of 5th grade, my teacher, Carol Seawright, put on the last day of school, our last day of graduating from elementary school. We were going over to middle school at Northwestern. There was one of the movies that on the last day we watched, and I was sitting with my best friend, Foster, and we were watching the movie together, and little did we know at that time what was heading, not just middle school, but just other things that were about to start going down with my friend that was going to lead to the downfall of him. A movie that my other friend Charlie Kemp at the time, he invited me over for a sleepover that summer before starting middle school. And he invited me over for a sleepover because he was moving. I think he was moving to like Texas or something, but he was moving. And so that night I slept over at his house. We put on Remember the Titans to watch that night. And then that was the last time I saw him, because then he moved and he didn't, come to Northwestern with us. Which is even funnier to me is where he lived 3 years later, my best friend, who's still my best friend now, Reese, his house is right across the street from where Charlie lived. So I remember when I went to go see my friend Reese at his house for the first time, I thought we were going to Charlie's house. I was like, did my friend Reese just move into Charlie's house? Now that would have been wild, like extremely wild. When he ended up moving to the house across the street. So even when I went to his house, I looked over and man, I wish Charlie still lived there. Then the Washington movies, not my favorite. But not only that, this movie has such a huge impact on not only sports movies, especially football movies. I think this might be, other than for Friday Night Lights, easily one of the best football movies in the past 25 years. I mean, I don't know what kid, what boy, what guy, what man grew up with this movie that's around my age that doesn't put this up there as one of their number ones or number twos favorite football movies. So it's one of the best performances of Denzel Washington. You know, it's funny, we joke about a year later he won for Training Day, but it's like he was even better in Remember the Titans than he was in Training Day. Sorry, King Kong has something on you, and that's Remember the Titans. But the other thing that make this movie so impactful, so a movie that is timeless. This movie is timeless. And this movie is timeless because of the amount of actors that are in this movie that were nobodies at the time. Nobody knew these actors. And now, some of these actors that started out in this movie are huge. They've made their career they've had careers launched because of this movie. Whether it's Ryan Gosling, who wasn't even the main star of the movie. He actually wasn't even one of the main supporting actors. He was like down here as one of the biggest actors working today. This was still 4 years before The Notebook. And like I said, look at Ryan Gosling's career. It's amazing. Hayden Panettiere, Coach Yost's daughter. As I like to say, the MVP of the movie. To get that young actress, I think she was only like 10 or 11, and her performance as Cheryl Yost. Cheryl. Not now. Cheryl, why don't you go play with some dolls? I hate dolls. I'm not playing, I'm accessorizing. You want to go accessorize? Just that look she gives Denzel Washington. No dialogue, just that look said it all. I mean, she outperformed Denzel. This little 10-year-old outperformed Denzel. And then Hayden Panettiere has had a long career. She's been in movies right after Remember the Titans, whether it's Joe Somebody with Tim Allen, or Raising Helen with Kate Hudson, or starring in 2 major TV shows, Heroes, Save the Cheerleader, Save the World, or Nashville, the young up-and-coming country singer. 2 shows that had many seasons. And then she also had a film career. She was in one of the Bring It On movies. She ended up being in one of the biggest horror franchises, Scream, Scream 4, Scream 6, and we might even see her show up in Scream 7. Kate Bosworth, an even lower player in the movie, as Gary Bertier's girlfriend, on and off again girlfriend, cheerleader. Kate Bosworth was a nobody. Now she's been in some of the biggest. She played Lois Lane in Superman Returns. She's been in so many movies. Blue Crush, 21, the car playing movie. She's worked with Kevin Spacey 3 times. Now that's something. That's something. Then you got Ryan Hurst, Gary Bertier. He's had a career in comedies. He was one of the main players in Sons of Anarchy. He just got cast in the God of War live-action show as the main character. Wood Harris, you know, Julius. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in the recent Creed movies, the Rocky spin-off movies, as the trainer for Michael B. Jordan. And even Mike Pinansky, I don't even know how to say his last name. Mike Pinansky, the cop. The dude only has one scene. The cop. When he stops the car and looks at Julius. Hell of a game last night. I haven't seen that type of football in a long time. Way to go. Tell your coach he did a great job. That guy, the cop, he's been in a number of things. He was just in that Netflix show, His and Hers. He played Tessa Thompson's boss. I didn't even realize that until I went back and watched the movie the other night. I was like, holy shit, the cop. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This movie is a time capsule. Yeah, you get in those movies that there's always that one breakout star, that one breakout actor, that then goes on to have a huge career. Looking at you, Timothée Chalamet in Interstellar. But not this many actors in one movie. Not this many actors that went on to have full-fledged major careers. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then you get your Denzel, like I said. And then there's other actors in the movie. Ethan Suplee. You know, Louis Lastik, the big fat guy. Yes, he was already in a couple of things beforehand. American History X. And he was even in, like, Boy Meets World. But he was still pretty unknown. He went on to do Glow, the movie. Anyway. The Butterfly Effect. And so many other things. The other guy who went on, Petey, running back, me, running back, y'all. He went on to be on Scrubs, and also in a number of other things. I mean, this movie is the quintessential finding talent. Not casting director to get a fucking gold medal. Then you got the music. The music in this movie. I mean, one of the best soundtracks in a film, especially in a sports movie. Through the grapevine, express yourself. Ain't no mountain high enough. Smeared in the sky. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Superstar. No Surrender, House of the Rising Sun, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress, I Want to Take You Higher, Fire and Rain, Up Around the Bend, Amazing Grace. I mean, this movie has some of the most well-known songs, and they play great. I get choked up when I hear the Fire and Rain song from James Taylor. You know, they hit at a pivotal point in the movie. They won that giant game. They're going to the championship. You know, Coach Herman Boone, Coach Boone, goes home. his little daughters would say, Daddy, we got the kitchen all ready for you. And he says, you know what? We're not going to work tonight. We're going to celebrate. We're going to tell all the people here, we're going to state. We're going to state. We're going to state. And then over at the high school, Gary Bird's here, all excited. Yeah, you man, you. And then he drives his car and like, oh shit. And he had that Fire and Rain song playing in the background. Ooh, it gives me goosebumps. Because now when I watch that movie, with my history of being in 5th grade and sitting with my best friend, that song hits a lot differently now. How the song opens just yesterday morning. I heard that they told me you were gone. That, when I hear those lyrics, it gives me goosebumps. Because, I lost my friend. Imagine that was the same friend that I was sitting there. And, when that scene in the hospital room where he says, you can't be like this. You're Superman. Or when Julius comes to the hospital and the nurse says, sorry son, only family can be in here. And, Gary says, are you blind? That's my brother. Me and my friend Foster, we were like brothers. So even hearing that dialogue is very, the ending with the funeral. I love the cinematography too. I think how the movie opens with the fall leaves falling down and walking to the funeral, the grave, the funeral, the grave site. And then even at the end with the no. Hey. I mean, I often think about if they went back and reshot that scene now with like Hayden, with everyone grown up, like Hayden Panettiere now in her 30s, going to that funeral. I mean, that would just be like mind blown. This movie is very quotable. This is very quote. I mean, I don't know how many people haven't watched Remember the Titans and haven't quoted that movie. Put your hand down. You're smiling. Why are you smiling? Because football is fun. Football is fun, sir. Well, I'm going to tell you how much fun football is fun, sir. Oh, it's not fun anymore, is it? No, not fun anymore. Well, my name is Herman Boone, and I'm going to tell you how much fun we'll be having. Like I said, the whole, you want to accessorize? You want to go accessorize? I hate those. Bunch of rednecks. Sunshine. The Rev. Yeah, just a nickname. Here we have it. Running back. Me, running back, y'all. Hey, why don't you go sit with your people? I'm everyone's people, Julius. He's just a white-skinned brother, and I'm a dark, skinny cracker. Man, what's your problem, Louie? Man, I just gave your mother a piggyback ride. And she weighs twice as much as I do. I'm eligible. That's right, but I'm happily married. Will you ever quit? No. We want some more. I mean, he had the great speech at Gettysburg College. That's one of the best moments in the movie. Or when they get on the field and they're dancing. We are the Titans, the mighty, mighty Titans. that became a cultural thing. There were actual football teams going out on field and doing that little dance from Remember the Titans. I mean, when I say this movie has such a cultural impact, then you add the football, the whole football part of the movie. Great football scenes. That whole football game where they're finally getting revenge on the team that the ref is throwing penalty flag every moment, and then they're finally like, cut this shit out. You know what? We're gonna play our football now. And they just ransacked them mofos. And the other thing, you get the theme, the racial themes in the movie, white, black, a team coming together as one, and then letting that spread out with the people outside the team, the daughters, the people in the town. I think it's a great movie. And it's only about an hour and 45-minute movie. Great pace to it, too. Like I said, it's one of my favorite football movies, both personally for my history with when I saw this movie, who I saw it with, also loving football, also Denzel Washington, one of my favorite actors, and then like the amount of acting talent that came out of this movie and went on to have full-fledged careers is amazing. So let me know on this Super Bowl Sunday, what is your favorite football movie? Is it Remember the Titans? Is it something else? Are you going to watch Remember the Titans before the Super Bowl tonight? Let me know in the comments below. Not in the back.